special policies and programs. It's kind of a spot where, we can put in our local preference for 5%, which you would refer to as like all of us were in agreement on. Thank you, Councilmember Tovar, for always pushing that and continuing to push that. In other stuff, there's like, we have a minority, disabled, and women-owned business policy statement, environmental friendly product purchases, as we're going on. We already have reference to the California Department of Industrial Relations under prevailing wage contracts. That's also the agency that oversees wage theft claims. I happened to do a public records request with that agency to see how many wage theft claims happened, businesses out of Gilroy in a 10-year span. From 2011 to 2021, there was 957. I found that was pretty high. And I know that that's a statewide problem. So what I would like to see is if there's support from staff and council in adding a section under Section 7 regarding wage theft. And it could be something very simple things that we already do right here. Having a policy statement under Section 7 regarding wage theft would further enhance our commitment to responsible contractors and protection of our workers, right? By requiring an additional completed and signed form required of the project owner, contractor, and subcontractor that just certifies compliance with the wage theft protection laws and that there are no unpaid wage theft judgments against that company. Kind of like the same thing where they say, yes, I do have insurance for my employees. Yes, I do have the liability coverage, but I'm looking to try to see if there's any support to add that.
Jimmy, do you want to? Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to ask our Public Works Director, Daryl Jordan, to hopefully answer a question that I have. I believe that we are required, and this is a change in the law a few years ago, to verify that there are no wage claims against a contractor, but I'll ask Daryl if he knows more about that.
That's correct, Jimmy. Our contractors are required to provide a certified payroll, that which we report to the state, and that which we verify too. And we actually do go out and do spot investigations and asking people to make sure they're getting paid the correct wages. So
that's wonderful. Is there a way that we can memorialize that so the general public and others understand that? Just a simple.
Yeah, I think it's simply added into the bid document as it's a requirement of the documents that are put out. So I think the policy is a large, broad document. Perhaps what we ensure is that every bid that goes out, it includes that certification, and for public work projects, it definitely does.
I think we got to. Can we?
We do need to clarify.
Hang on. Okay. Are you finished, Tarzo? Sorry, finished speaking. And Councilmember Hilton, are you finished speaking?
For the moment, yeah. But I enjoy this conversation. It's a good one that needs to be had.
Okay, Councilmember Armendariz.
Thank you. And if Ty could show me, I don't know where to put my hand up with this thing.
It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need to clarify and distinguish the difference between a wage theft claim and an outstanding judgment, right? So, and we want to make sure that both are included if it's already included in the law, or if it's something we're going to include in further language. And, given the impact on not just individual workers, but also on the economy, right, in the community where they live, I think it's really important. And I know that in our county, outstanding wage theft judgments were in the hundreds of millions of dollars. So it's a huge impact on our community and our workers. But again, we have to specify that it includes outstanding wage theft judgments.
Okay.
Thank you.
All I can tell you is that every project must file with the state. Every public works project files with them, and we track them. They track them. We track them both. So there's a balance of power there. So.
Okay, Jimmy.
Thank you, Mr. Armendariz. I would like to offer up a suggestion, if it's at the pleasure of council, that if you're going to approve this current purchasing policy update, we would return with the language, because I want to know more about what we're doing, and we could actually just make that an amendment in a consent calendar or something like that that just says, after doing our own research, we see this in other contracts, we understand what it means, and that we recommend that council add this to the purchasing policy, but give us a chance to just make sure we understand all the facets to it.
Thank you. I wanted to say that we might be prohibited from duplicating the state law in this area, so we will have to check. Because, we're a charter city and we have some flexibility, but after SB 7, we're now bound by certain laws. So we would probably need to look at it in the attorney's office.
Yeah, and I think my original suggestion was not to have anything big and formal, more or less like we talk about prevailing wage in here. Even though we all know the prevailing wage is the law, it's still written in here as a paragraph, right? It doesn't have to necessarily refer to a law, but it can let the public know and I didn't know that we did that, right? It would let electeds know that this is something that we value and that should be in there. So thank you for that path forward.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions? No. Okay, so is someone wanting to make a motion or?
Yeah, I can do that if you want.
I'll second it.
Well, but he's going to make a motion with things.
Oh.
So, okay. So if you want to second it still, that's fine, but let him make his motion first. Okay.
So the motion would be to accept the staff report on the updated City of Gilroy purchasing policy, and then with the amendment of adding a section on wage theft. And I'll be specific on what the language that I would be looking for to see if that will help staff as well to bring that back. So the policy statement would be under, let's just say statement will be under Section 7 regarding wage theft, and it would require an additional completed and signed form required of the project owner, contractor, and subcontractors that certifies compliance with wage theft protection laws, and that there are no unpaid wage theft judgments.
Okay, that's the motion. Councilmember Klein, are you wanting to second it?
I'll second it.
Okay, it is seconded. And for my own clarity, that in what he just said is what is already covered according to our Public Works Director, right? I understand it doesn't have the language that Councilmember Hilton is asking for, but it is already covered that we would be made aware of any outstanding wage theft judgments, correct? Okay. Okay, so
Councilmember Almaderis?
Yes.
Councilmember Bracco?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Councilmember Marks?
Yes.
Councilmember Tovar?
Yes.
And Mayor Blinkley.
no. All right, and that passes.